troubling numbers now. We're going to have more of them now for the Hillary Clinton campaign as a new poll finds New Hampshire voters give Senator Sanders the edge over Clinton on handling the economy, too. And, of course, that's always a top issue in any election. Joining me now, Chris Plante, syndicated radio talk show host of The Chris Plante Show. Leslie Marshall, Fox News contributor and syndicated radio talk show host of The Leslie Marshall Show. Great to see the both of you. Leslie, let me start with you because we're focusing on Clinton and Sanders right now, at least. The economy. The economy is now the top issue for Democrats. 23% of likely Democratic voters, if we can show the poll here, calling foreign policy and national security. That was their top issue, but that faded now. Now it's only 13%. The same share naming the economy and jobs their top priority now. It's climbed from 18 to 26%. Leslie.
Well, one of the things, Gretchen, that we see, not just from this poll, but when we look historically at a voter, is that voters, regardless of their ideology, their party, have short-term memories. And we see the farther we get away from San Bernardino and Paris and the attacks, the terrorist attacks there, the more they return to what's number one on most American voters' minds, which is the economy. It's the economy, stupid. So that I'm not surprised about. And this does help Senator Sanders a little bit, because one of the areas that Senator Sanders really couldn't compete with, I feel, Mrs. Clinton on was foreign policy. Yes, in the last debate he had a stronger showing than the prior two, but with the economy, this is something he's harped on. Income inequality. He's attacked Wall Street. So certainly I think that resonates more with his base and some of the undecided Democrats.
Yeah, but what are his other policies about the economy? Chris, take a look at this. New Hampshire voters, 57% say Sanders would best handle the economy, only 33% for Hillary Clinton. I mean, she, I think, is a capitalist. He is a self-avowed democratic socialist. You've got that many people saying he has a better handle on the economy?
What has happened to the Democrat Party? Honestly, Democrats rank and file and in Washington should be very concerned about what they've done to America and what has happened to their party. I mean, he's a septuagenarian Bolshevik who took his lovely bride to the Soviet Union on their honeymoon, and he is killing in the Democratic Party race. This is nuts. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And he's with the economy, a 90% tax rate that he's proposed.
He came off of that a little bit. He came off of 90%, Chris, but he won't tell us exactly what it is. But yes, there are some very interesting details that are all out there for people to find out, by the way, if you want to Google Bernie Sanders. Okay, let's move on to this because this is live picture right now. Donald Trump about to appear again with Sarah Palin in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Of course, yesterday she endorsed him in Iowa. Of course, this was seen as a huge blow to Senator Ted Cruz, who she helped back in 2012 when he got into the political arena. But conservative media personality Glenn Beck just announced he will appear with Cruz in Iowa over the weekend, a little more than a week before the caucuses. Leslie, what do we make of these pairings now of highly important conservative endorsements?
We're going to have so much fun.
Well, first of all, Bill Clinton's endorsed candidates that lose, and he's a very popular guy. I don't really put a lot of stock in endorsements. I have to say I was surprised that Sarah Palin endorsed Trump because she and Ted Cruz have been so much in lockstep, if you will, with the Tea Party, and Ted Cruz has even talked about in the past how he likes Sarah Palin. So I think what these endorsements do, even though Trump doesn't need it right now, is gives them maybe a tiny bump in the polls from supporters of those individuals, but overall I don't think it makes a difference. And by the way, Chris, the Democratic Party, we're fine. We're good. I appreciate your concern.
Okay, Chris, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond. I'm up against a hard break. 10 seconds, Chris.
Celebrity endorsements are great. I think Sarah Palin is a bit of a celebrity endorser at this point. It's probably going to give him a bit of a bump, Trump, in Iowa, which is what he's looking for right now. With the caucuses there, Ted Cruz looking very strong in Iowa, and that's really, I think, what this is all about, is pushing back on Ted Cruz in Iowa so that he doesn't come out of the gates a loser in Iowa.
Okay, guess what? We're not going to go to the hard break because now we have Sarah Palin up at the microphone at this Trump rally. She didn't show up at the earlier one today in Iowa. She was there yesterday, but then here she is back.
You deserve the best.
All right, no more pussyfooting around. She said it again. It's time to kick ISIS's ass. Our vets deserve a real commander-in-chief, not one that will leave them behind and lie to the families of the fallen. Sarah Palin also went on to talk about the fact that her son, Track, was arrested yesterday. She didn't say exactly what happened, but he was arrested for domestic violence assault, threatened his girlfriend allegedly with an AR-15. But she did go on to say that he served in a combat brigade, in the Stryker Brigade, that he came home hardened, and that we need to respect our military veterans, some who may be suffering from PTSD and come home wounded. Let me bring back in the political panel now, Chris and Leslie. Chris, was this the right time for Sarah Palin to talk about any kind of effects that her son, and we don't know if he is suffering from any of the above?
Well, she seems to be saying today that that is the explanation for what happened with her son. You know, it's the Mama Grizzly thing. She's coming to her son's defense. Nobody asked her about it, but she's getting out front and saying that her son is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder because of his time serving in combat and you know, building a legal defense right here on television today. I think she's a mother. She's responding to her son being in a crisis.
Mm-hmm. From a PR point of view, Leslie, I mean, is it smart for her to get out in front of it? I mean, here she is once again on the national stage, and she's having to face issues about her family, which she has done before.
Yeah.
I honestly, if she were running, Gretchen would agree with Chris. Like, yeah, you know, she's building a verbal defense right here on national television,
right,
and she's, you know, putting it out there in front. But she's not running. She's endorsing another person running. Yeah. She can talk about how wonderful our military is, which it is. She doesn't have to mention her son. If I were her PR advisor, I would not have advised her to mention her son. There's some people who may not know about these charges because they're, you know, just came about in the past, you know, couple of days. And quite frankly, it could even hurt his defense with her saying too much. So I don't think it was a smart thing to do, and I don't think it was the right venue.
Okay, Chris, wrap it up for me. You got about 30 seconds.
Well, going back to Sarah Palin jumping in and these proxies, you know, Sarah Palin is going to have, and why she endorsed Donald Trump rather than Ted Cruz. You know, she has no love or affinity for the Republican establishment in Washington, D.C., which did not treat her well. Right. She is known as the rogue. Donald Trump is kind of a rogue. She's a populist.
Yeah, but so
He's
is Ted
a populist.
Cruz.
Well, Ted Cruz is a different case, though. He's not rogue, not in the same way that Donald Trump is. He is not populist in the same way that Donald Trump is. And there's a relationship with the Republican establishment in Washington that may parallel.
Gotta go. Thanks much to both of you.
Right.
Do you recognize these?